Boy, it's been too long since I've had a dev stream. I'm just going up to copy the dev stream announcement, and it's been too long. Goals are the same. I have made further progress, but there's much to do. Send the video as libav packets. So probably, yeah, I've already got the fetch, so I just really need the input file to decode. The file, do I care about the name? Why did I care about the name here? Used it to make the reader device. Is this a shared libav? This is a shared libav. Ah, I see. It's a quasi-shared libav. I remember how I did it. Yeah, that makes sense. I just have categories of libavs, and I share within each category. Fine, fine, fine. So I do actually need the name, and of course the input. And I need exactly this. Let's just stare at this screen until I've decided that it's already doing what I need it to. This is actually going to be very similar. Like I started from the audio decoder, and it is going to be largely the same. Because I'm a very smart person. Okay, so we, of course, need the input reader. I uncork the input. I suppose I could use the same decoder instance as all the other decoders. Yeah, I can probably make sure that this name is unique, because every file has a file ID, or every video file has a video file ID. So that's probably fine. Entity muxer. Look for the video stream, vidio stream. This really is going to be very similar. It's just that I'm not actually decoding it. After the, yeah, from this point on, it becomes very different. Let's see. Hello, Joshua. Let's see, what is this stream if it's not... I mean, it is a real stream. It is streaming. So what is the second video stream? It's the pseudo stream. There's nothing pseudo about it. It's a real stream. It has pseudo data in it. I'll just call it a blank stream. That makes sense. SQL stream. Problem is that the blank data actually comes before the stream data. actually probably don't need const stream here because I'm not going to be initializing a decoder. Yeah, I guess I probably do actually, because I need to do some initial nonsense. So if we found one, then the blank stream equals that. Else. So Joshua, here's the real trick. It's actually a sandwich. It'll create, because it takes a duration. So the idea is you have a video duration that is the actual duration of the entire recording, but you were actually recording for some portion in the middle of that. Who knows what portion in the middle of that? And so I need to fill in blanks before that portion you were actually recording and after that portion you were actually recording. So the blanks are sandwiching the actual video data. I guess I could just have this dot blank stream be optional. Yeah. So I don't think that is necessarily a rise in popularity, Joshua, so much as a change in the algorithm. I have noticed that the algorithm is bringing up recent versions of that sort of thing, though, yes. Okay, so we don't want a decoder, but I do need to... you know what? For the time being... Yeah, so I need some initial frames, both for frame rate detection, which maybe I won't do right now, and for just getting out the blank frames, because I'm going to need them. No, I don't want that. I want FF read multi. Maybe I say, like, this first read, I'm going to snag 16 megs. So that really ought to be enough to make any sort of decisions. Something got auto-modded? Did you use bad words? Uh, I guess I should probably have an else for this. Actually, the right way to do this... No. Yes, this is the right way to do this. Yeah, I'll actually handle the frame rate calculation first. Okay, so the first packet is unreliable, but so I need at least 2 packets, or really just need 3 packets to make a really sort of hokey guess at the frame rate, and hopefully there will be more than 3 packets and I can make a better guess at the frame rate. Math. Okay, so if the time base is milliseconds, that means the time base is 1 over 1,000. So I need to multiply by the numerator and divide by the denominator. And the number of packets between those is the length minus 2. Yes. Because I'm not using the first frame. And the frame rate is the last minus the first divided by the count. No, it is the reciprocal of that. This is seconds per frame. Frames per second is the reciprocal of seconds per frame. So if this is utter nonsense, what do I call nonsense in the upper bound? 1024 frames per second is obviously false. Otherwise, I'll trust it. So if I don't have any blank stream, blank stream, then I can just use the blank packets from the main stream. That's not the non-blank packets, the first packets that aren't blank from the main stream. But ideally, I do. But if I do have blank packets, and then I will use them. I know 0 is set because I checked the length. I mean, I could queue up all of the blank frames, but I don't think that's wise. I think I need to have like a count of how many blank frames I need to queue up. Thinking ahead of myself here. No, blank. One else. Okay, so now, unless the input was utterly insane, I have generated some blank packets. The first packet has a nonsense time right now, and I forgot about that. If I can't calculate the frame rate, I'm just going to make a guess. Better to make a guess than have utter on here. Here's a wiser way to do this. If the frame rate makes any sense, then this will be like the computed frame rate. Set the frame rate to the computed frame rate only if it made any sense. In all their cases, it just gets set to what it was. Then I can say this dot frame rate always equals computed frame rate. Okay. Okay, and we're going to reset that to be based on this instead. Okay, now this is a bit easier. You need one fewer frame than the first frame time. Is that correct? Wait. If the first frame time is 0, this would suggest I need -1 frames. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Off by 1 error. Okay. I choose not to believe it, and I won't believe it till I see it, and then I still won't believe it. Yeah, this is unfortunate, but that's fine. What am I trying to do? Let's say every 120 frames will be a keyframe. Oh, but that's not right. Let's just call this picket. I actually don't know if this will encode correctly if I do it like I'm about to do. I am pulling weird tricks that may or may not work. equals. I shouldn't redo this math every time. Oh, I see. I see the issue. I do need to redo this math every time. This is interesting. It's here, though, that I need to do the math. Really hope I'm doing these in the right order. Oh, because I don't have stream. Let's go ahead and get it. Okay, so now I'm filling in the blank before. Now I get the Q packets. These can just literally be queued. They're all set up. They're all ready to go. Then from here, this should actually get much, much simpler. This is the only place where I actually want to check for errors. I don't want to check for errors here because I'll always fall down to here if that's needed. Now, I no longer care about any of this because I'm not decoding this. I'm just sending it. Okay, so that gets vastly simpler at that point. And then there shouldn't be much left except adding all of those local fields that I just sort of presumed existed and didn't actually use, or didn't actually define. So let's see, I have frame rate. I think frame rate is the first one. Frame rate, blank I, blank P, blank count, blank time, and Q packets. I would only like to see Barber Battlesong and get a movie. No, nothing else. Nothing else. There was also blank stream, but that didn't actually matter in the end. In fact, did I even use blank stream at all? No. All I needed was the index. And even the fact that, like, now I'm not checking if this loop went over the edge doesn't matter, because this will check it, since there obviously won't be any packets that are out of any stream. Okay, so this actually should be most of a video timer. I have not yet handled the end, because it would be a massive pain in the ass, and I haven't quite figured out how to do that yet, so let's worry about the beginning first. The beginning is the harder part, question mark. Now, so I'm probably going to need to change the way the encoder processor works to just encode and not do anything else. Not just encode, don't do anything else. I need to think very carefully for a moment, because I'm currently in timestamp hell, and I didn't consider that fact. I'm not in timestamp hell if I just use the right version of libav. Everything's great. Everything's fine. Okay, so the encoder is currently doing encoding and muxing, and that's just not going to fly. You know what else isn't going to fly? I need to get the I need to get the codec parameters out of here. I forget whether I have a copy out codec parameters. If I do, then that's done. No! I'm not even sure if I would have named it copy out in that way. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I only ever used copy out for frame and packet. But I feel like I would have done something for codec par. Do I have a codec parameters type? No, I don't, so obviously I did not do something like that for codec par. That would have been too easy. Is it not called extra data? What is it called? It is called extra data. Okay, so I have nothing. Great. Feels like horrifically it's the right time to implement copy out codec pars and copy in codec par. So You can't decode video if you don't know its parameters. Like, well, the obvious things are like if it's how many pixels wide and how many pixels tall it is. And so you need to copy that kind of information from the decoding side, or from the demuxing side to the muxing side. But I currently, like, generally speaking, you wouldn't have these like separated processes doing this muxing and demuxing, so I haven't really needed to get the data entirely out and into a different process. I could just use it within the process, and so it hasn't really mattered that it needs to sort of flow that far. No such luck. No such luck now. Just trying to decide if there's like a tricky way of doing this, a sneaky way of doing this. But I think the answer is no. I just have to do it. Oops. Now within, probably the closest will actually be copy out packet. If I just start with copy out packet and change it to be what I need it to be. Yeah, it's mostly the same, just the extra data. It's the side data in packet that I was thinking, haven't I already done this? Answer, kinda. I did a different thing. Is there any way for me to do this without this? Obviously not. I just need the codec parameters. Okie dokie. Let's go ahead and start with these. Now this is exciting. What I actually need is just channel layout number of channels. The others will be set automatically, I believe. No, this will be in findings. Oh, no, I do need it all. Yeah, I need it all. Okay. Feels like such a weirdly named thing, but okay. What did I just do? I'm sure there's a much faster way to do this, but I don't really care. Chroma location, codec ID tag type. ID tag type. Obviously, this is not everything that's there, but you don't necessarily need absolutely everything. You just sort of need enough. Primary range space DRC. Range Ranta color. I didn't even know I could change font size like that. Space color TRC. Okay, extra data is gonna have to be handled separately. So really all you need is the skeleton of that progress. Sure. Boy howdy, do I remember what I was talking about 2 seconds ago. Now the frame rate is interesting because actually it's definitely wrong. There's a 100% chance that it's incorrect. And also, it's irrational, so I guess it's frame rate numerator and frame rate denominator. But do I actually... I forget how I did this. Oh, dang it, I'm looking in post again when I meant to be looking in bindings. Rats. Rats have them all. Okay, rats have everything. This will be faster to do the other side because I can basically just duplicate this and make some changes. Height level profile. Level and profile, that's like the stuff you really need to have or things might go very weird. Sample rate and width. Well, and width and height. Now I'm going to do a magic trick. And the extra data, ff copy out, codec par extra data, is similar to the side channel before. Long line coming through. Oh, I remember. It's actually simpler because side data you can have multiple side datas, but extra data you can only have one. So yeah, it's much simpler now because it's not this whole list. I just have to copy out U8 and I'm done. Much simpler. copy int. This is actually going to be more similar to copy out codec par than it is to copy out packet, or to copy in packet. I'm going to start from here. I have all the same steps, I'm just doing it a bit differently. Same kind of magic trick here. Parameters. So it'll be this set to codec par dot that. Wait. Pointer. Dot that. Slightly unconvinced. I feel like I did something that was a little bit too magic trick. That's right. I need to check whether it's there. That's the thing. That's what's annoying. Yeah, okay. Never mind. But I can still do most of the magic trick here. Here's my list of stuff. There we go. And only if it's actually set do we try to copy it in. You know what? Actually, this is just not how I do rationals. Nowadays, I do them like this. So, as long as I'm defining this type, let's define it in a way that I'm not going to regret later. Which means here, I'm going to have to do frame rate separately. Okay, and then if we have extra data, then we will go ahead and copy in codec par extra data into codec par pointer from codec par extra data, and then I will fix this to actually link the correct information. I suppose I should have a more recent version of the MSDK, just in case I need it. once again, this is no longer really a loop. AV packet new side data. Oh. Well, that ain't what I want. I just need to allocate it. Let me just, for my own comparison's sake, because I'm sure here I have copied in extra data. Yeah, just malloced it. Okay. I didn't think it would be anything but malloc, but... Surely I just normally call malloc here. Yeah. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. I can't await! Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Wait, I don't have to await. I'm in the system. There's no communication here. Everything's fine. Data.length. Copy in U8 into extra data pointer from extra data. Oh, yes, you don't have to specify a size because it already knows the size. The size is from the object. Then I just have to AV codec parameters extra data set to that pointer, that pointer, and extra data size set to the size. Okay. Now, I have to document it. Everybody loves documentation. Make sure I was consistent in my types. I called this, I'm still on packets, I called this AV codec parameters. That's not right. This is now my own codec parameters. Documentation is great when it's great. And here I called it codec parameters. Good. Okay. It's a good thing I am the author of both of these things. Now, I'm actually going to look in libav's own documentation. I guess, yeah, no, I definitely wrote that documentation all myself. So anyway, I'm going to look in the documentation really just to get the order. I wonder where codec parameters is defined. Might not be in libav codec, actually. Might be in avutil, maybe? Nope. It's in codec underscore par. You know what? This has got lovely documentation anyway, so here's what I'm going to do. Vim that. And also the types file. my license header information already has all of the annotation, all of the, what am I trying to say? The, like it already, attribution, it already has all the attribution for this, so I don't need to worry about that aspect of stealing this documentation. I have already attributed this documentation. That is certainly not important. I think I added the accessors for these for such a wildly unrelated reason. I guess technically speaking, lots of this is actually optional. The codec ID is not, the format is not, profile and level are definitely both optional. The width and height are optional in the sense that they're definitely mandatory for video, but they're not going to be there for anything else. Oh, the sample aspect ratio. That's interesting. I always just assume that if your aspect ratio isn't one, or if your sample aspect ratio, your pixel aspect ratio isn't 1:1, then you're some kind of sociopath. Now, all of this, like, you're not going to know how to deal with these numbers, but just having them allows you to copy it from one libav instance to another, which is quite sufficient. All of this is optional. Ugh. Okay, don't want the old stuff, obviously. Yike-a-rooney. Oh, interesting. I don't get the frame size here. Frame size shouldn't matter, but... Or rather, the frame size matters in many other places, but not here. Okay, but this now has a different different shape than it had before. So it has, what? Channel. The hell shape does it have? This was really weird. Channel layout mask, channels, channel layout number of channels, even though these two should always be the same. Layout mask, channels, channel layout number of channels. Let me just check something here. Layout number of channels. Okay, so those literally are the same. I definitely don't need both. I can just use channels. Glad I checked. Now, while this takes an eternity to build, I'm going to go refill my drink. Then I'm going to have to add tests for, well, at least some tests for this. Good, it hasn't failed yet. Set your sights low. Looks like it's actually almost near, it's nearly done building. It's almost near to being nearly done building. There we go, okay. So it did build, that's good. So what I'm gonna need is something that does transcoding, and then I'm gonna see if I can make it work still with copying the codec pars indirectly. But unfortunately, the things that transcode in the 500 range aren't going to be sufficient because of how they work. Remux is what I'm looking for, but I want a... There we go, that's the one I want. I want a Remux that is in the 600 range because the 600 range ones use the high-level API. Actually, just going to keep the same base name, even though that's evil. Yeah, here we go. So it's this codec parameters. That is no longer what I want. This is obviously a comment that's been copied from previous things, because not only do I not need the decoded video, I'm not decoding them, but there's no decoding. No decoding is happening here. v.ff, copy out codec par, and this is stream.codec par. Then I want to make sure that I, yes, close the input, which I suppose is just this. Yeah. So that I can't possibly accidentally use the previous codec parameters. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Oh, do I not? Of course, I don't have a binding to the codec parameter allocator because I wouldn't have been able to use it before. Oopsie poopsie. What is the codec parameter allocator? AV codec parameters alloc. That makes a lot of sense. And AV codec parameters free. Fine. Easily done. Let's actually put it above the AV codec stuff. Yes, let's put it above the AV codec stuff. So codec parameters all one word. Yes. No. AV codec parameters. Oh, wait, that's already, okay, wait. AV codec parameters alloc. Oh, I've already got it. What am I doing? Okay. Yeah, okay, this is all here. Never mind. Resume your previously scheduled programming. Codec parameters alloc, but now, rather than that being almost useless, I can copy in codec par to codec bar pointer, and hopefully, if I then use that, it will work. Everything else should be the same. Yes. Let's go ahead and just run that one. Whoa. Missing function save set jump. What? What? Save set jump in decode in VPX decode. Since when does VPX decode not work? But also I didn't ask it to decode. Oh boy, bigger problems. I love bigger problems. Or possibly I just Control-C'd it. No, I didn't. Save set jump. What the heck? What? Maybe I had like a partial build lying around and I brought up a newer version of Emscripten and it... That seems unlikely but far from impossible. Is there a quick way that I can deal with that? Yes, I can. Well, quick, relatively speaking. I can get rid of the libvpx build directory and get rid of the libvpx installation. Then if I rebuild, it should only rebuild libvpx, and hopefully, whatever weird nonsense just happened was some version-specific madness. If not, then, oh boy, new problems. I know there aren't new problems because this, like, I literally committed new stuff to libav this morning, so it wasn't broken this morning. Now we get to sit and watch libvpx compile. It's funny how much I complain about fetch quests in video games because, like, right now I am I'm rebuilding VPX because there was that weird error with VPX in Emscripten, because I'm trying to add a feature to libavjs, because I'm trying to add a feature to the download processor to handle video in a new format that I've been adding to on Ennuicastr. I'm like 6 levels deep in my own fetch quest, but it feels more authentic because I did it to myself. I wouldn't be at all surprised if you can't like compile stuff across versions of Emscripten if it's not backwards compatible in that way. I would frankly be slightly shocked if they care at all about that kind of backwards compatibility, because they don't really have shared object files, so there's no reason for it. It's just EverQuest for terminal, exactly. No, this is all bad. This is all bad. All of this is bad. That was not a problem before. I mean, it's possible that this is a newer version of Emscripten that I've tested with. But I guarantee you, given all of that, that it's the quest failed. Yes, that quest failed. Given that, the only thing I really think to do... I didn't activate 3160. Oh. And yet I did? What? I'm going to let this finish building. It's going to have exactly the problem we know it's going to have. And then the very last thing I'll do today is probably see if 3150 works, and if so, then I just have to fix for newer versions of Emscripten. In which case, I have to fix a patch to libvpx to handle newer versions of Emscripten so that I can add this new feature to libav so I can use it in my download processor so it can use the so it can mux the video in the format that I'm now creating with Ennuicastr. I think the thing that separates, and this is very egomaniacal of me, but like the thing that separates a mediocre programmer and a great programmer is being able to like jump through abstraction levels and like get down into the muckety muck without forgetting why they're there and what they're trying to achieve. So this level of nesting, while frustrating, is just part of the game. Judging by the timing, it looks like I'm not going to actually have time to test with an older version. What? 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 So like, what? It clearly couldn't have worked because exactly the thing that was causing the problem it complained about, and here we are and it's working. Huh. I'm gonna call that provisional success. Unfortunately, that's a slow mode test, so I'm gonna have to include the slow, and so I actually am gonna be able to test whether this feature was added correctly. I think that I was correct about my diagnosis that it's like an Emscripten version issue. And it's just that the way that it handles that problem changed from version to version, but the problem was always there. And so, given that it does have some way of handling that problem, mumble mumble question mark. That's my conclusion. Sometimes the conclusion is mumble mumble question mark, you know? You just have to accept mumble mumble question mark as a valid conclusion. This, by the way, is extremely slow because... Oh, I can't get the CPU percentage, interesting. Because it only runs single-threaded. Unfortunately, it is only really possible to run this particular test single-threaded, so there you go. I'm just going to hope this will be done within 2 minutes, which, honestly, I'm not convinced of. But if this goes up to 2 out of 2, then that means it actually has run the test and is just running the test again. So I will consider that to be sufficient. If we get up to 2 out of 2, then that means it passed. If it gets up to 2 out of 2 without saying it didn't pass, obviously. This is the test configuration and the test number. I knocked out most of the tests, so there are only 4 tests to run, but I don't need to run in 2 configurations to know that I implemented it correctly, because there's just nothing here to sort of break with different configurations. Just picked off a scab unthinkingly, just scratching an itch, and the scab came right off. Didn't even know I had a scab there, and now I'm bleeding into a napkin. You know how it is. I remember years ago, I just get to describe the entire thing. So both of my hands were full. I was holding something in each hand, and I felt, I think it was a bug bite. I know exactly what it was. I felt a bug bite on my arm, and like, if both of your hands are full, I still contend that the natural human impulse is to use your teeth to scratch. Like, if you need to scratch and both of your hands are full, you use your teeth. That is not like me being weird. That's what you do. And so I bit my arm to scratch it. And it was a mosquito bite, and I did eat that mosquito, and I remember describing it as tasting predominantly of blood, presumably my own blood, and somebody, the part of the story that this friend of mine questioned was how I would know what blood tastes like, and it's like, I'm full of it. I have, in many situations, just accidentally, here we go, it's moved on to the correct test, accidentally gotten a bit of blood on my tongue. Hell, I bit my tongue. That'll do it. The idea of, like, the taste of blood being foreign feels so bizarre to me. Okay, that passed. Just, I don't know why the taste of blood came up, but, like, some people are very squeamish about blood, and I don't know, I feel like even if you're in good health, blood just comes out sometimes. Usually it stays in, and sometimes it wants to come say hello. Like when you are scratching an itch and you accidentally take off a scab. Anyway, we've succeeded in something. It was sort of 7 fetch quests down from my actual goal, but we succeeded in something. I should have this task, like, have some kind of system where I can actually show that tree. You know what? Before, even though I'm going over, before we end here. So this is, let me just add codec par video processing. Wait. That's like the shortest version of my task, not task tree, but my current place within the task tree. Unfortunately, it's going to be a while until I do another dev stream, because I've got other stuff to do for, well, I'm going to be on vacation for a couple weeks, so, oh well, but progress. Stream.